Yes, boys. So, video 2, just finished boxing, and you know what? I'm gonna get straight into it. I feel like today it's been quite a productive day in terms of like realizations. I've had probably the best realization I could probably have, a very humbling one, and I've had to be very honest with myself and open because I feel like at the moment I've just been, just chasing success, just chasing all these things that I want, and not really developing into a person that I want to be. And I'm not even talking about just the money and, your physique and all these kind of things. I'm just talking about the person that I actually want to be to my friends and to my family and stuff like that. And I've come to notice I've actually hurt and disrespected a lot of people along the way, and not even intentionally. Like, I really haven't. Like, I truly believe that I'm a good soul, not even to blow my own trumpet, but like, I am. I don't do things out of spite. I think I just get so soaked up in my own little bubble, in my own little world, and I just kind of focus on myself only, which is a good thing, but I think you got to be a bit mindful of others, especially the ones that are close to you. And so I've had to come to realise a lot of things about myself, and now that I had this realisation, like, it hit deep. It hit the heart a bit, so it's one of those things that I know that I'm going to improve on now, because I feel like the more it hits deep in your heart, the more likely you are to change, and I genuinely feel that at the moment. And it's the same with a load of other things. I think you can't really just chase the success and all that kind of stuff without understanding your other weaknesses, about your character in general. So for me, a big one is procrastination. I tend to procrastinate a lot, and that's just something I've got to come head to head with now and like battle it. I'll take it one at a time, one weakness at a time. I don't want to overload myself. I've written all my weaknesses down, and I'm just going to choose one, like probably the most important one, which is procrastination at the moment, because obviously if you can't learn to battle the procrastination, then you're never going to get anything done, are you? So, we're battling that at the moment, and the way I'm doing it, so in terms of procrastination with work, and because obviously I waste a lot of time scrolling and doing stuff like that. When it's time for a work block, I'll lock my phone away, and I literally did this today, and I've never felt any better. I've literally felt so good because I didn't have that urge to just scroll, because I knew it was out of sight. I didn't have to do it, and I felt mentally clear, and I could let my thoughts flow for once. So it felt great. You should try it. Honestly, another way that I'm learning to deal with it is, just understand it's never as hard as it seems, nor does it take as long as you think it will. It's always the thought that's actually hard. Like, for example, with myself, like if I've got to go on a run, for example, do I necessarily want to? No. The thought of it is actually dreadful. Like right now I'm sat here in sweaty clothes, it's cold, and yeah, I don't want to do it. But what I'll do is I'll get home, you put your running shoes on, and you just take that first step, and then you just get out and do it without thinking. Once you're doing it, you feel good about yourself because you've done it, and you realise, what, it actually wasn't that hard, and it's not as lengthy of a process as you think. Like, 20 minutes? That's it. That's literally it. 20 minutes, and I'm one step closer to the person I want to be. I'm one step closer to being in better shape. So it's a win-win. Like, why wouldn't you do it? So the main focus here as well, with obviously the whole procrastination thing, is I want to do things with speed. So the time between you getting that idea and then the action, I want to try and minimize it as much as possible. Like, to the point where I'm like, I get the idea and I instantly act. And that's where I want to get to. And I'm kind of treating it like a bit of a game. It's a bit of a competition with myself, because it's like, right, I got an idea. It's like, right, how fast can we act on this? It's quite exciting. So I'm kind of looking forward to kind of doing that. I mean, I should have done it with this video, to be fair. I've waited until after boxing, and obviously right now it's not flowing as much as I would have liked it to. Before it was fresh in the mind, I was passionate about it. Right now I'm kind of having to force it because, I'm not in that mood at the moment. But sometimes you just gotta get done what you gotta get done. Like, hearing that thing about, having that, the time between the idea and then obviously you taking action needs to be minimized. It kind of made me realize that ideas are actually so cheap. Like, they literally mean nothing. Like, I think about the amount of times you get an idea and you don't act on it. Like, the way I think of it is like, imagine everyone's got a junk drawer at home, yeah, and every time you get an idea, you just throw it into that junk drawer. Like, every time you find something on the kitchen side and you put it in that junk drawer, think about how hard it is to find that idea again once you don't act on it straight away. The longer you leave it, the more buried it gets, and then it just becomes lost. You know, you just lose it. And then later down the line, say like 2 months down the line, you actually find it, you might not even need it anymore, or it's useless, you're not feeling as passionate about it. You know, it's just one of those things. So I feel like ideas are really cheap. You've got to like act on them instant. Acting is like obviously the most important thing here. That's the thing I'm trying to develop. That's what we're trying to go for, whether we feel like it or we don't. Like right now, like I was saying, I don't particularly feel in the mood to record this video, but I'm doing it anyway because I have to do it. I told myself I'm going to do it. I got to honor my word. And I also just want to add a little thing as well. You know, from the last video, you know, I was obviously talking about my current situation, and it's not really the best situation in the world, especially for a 23-year-old. Obviously, like, it's not the worst, nor is it the best. You know, especially when you've got goals and you've got an idea of a position you want to be in life. You know, I'm nowhere near that, and I feel like a lot of the time I sat there and kind of victimized myself, and I felt bad for myself for being in that situation, and I was just always annoyed but never really like took the action and just pitied myself, and that literally just gets you nowhere. So I feel like if you're out there and you're feeling like, yeah, you're in a bad situation, that might well be your case, but you can't just look back on like, oh my god, I'm so far behind, and see it in that way. You've got to just look at it as like, right, I've had my realization now, but all I truly have is here right now. That's all I have. I literally can't do anything about the past. That is gone. That is, khalas, gone. You know what I mean? All I have is this second and the actions that I do today and onwards. That's literally all I've got. So you can't dwell on it. The more you dwell on it, the more depressed you get, the more down you feel, because you're just constantly thinking about something that you didn't do and you can never get back. And you just got to make the most of the time that you have right now. And you're probably going to have a lot of people along the way as well on your journey, family and friends. They're going to tell you, oh, you know, you cut yourself some slack. You're not doing that bad. You know, all these kind of stuff. You know, and to be fair, you might not be doing so bad compared to the average person. You might be mentally screwed on. But there's no harm in, like, you know, that reflection, that self-reflection. For some reason, I feel like it, especially in my life anyway, it's been seen as quite a negative thing. Like, people are like, oh, you're so hard on yourself. I just want to be better. You know what I mean? Like, I understand that, yeah, I'm doing decent, you know, I'm in good shape, I've got my head screwed on, that kind of stuff, but like I said, I'm not where I want to be. I'm always going to push for more. There's no harm or shame in doing so. But yeah, that's pretty much it, to be fair, about today. I've just had a lot of reflections, you know, a lot of things to work on now, and I am excited. I'm just very monotone today. I've just experienced a lot, I've understood a lot, and I'm kind of just ready to attack now. I'm just ready to, you know, improve bit by bit every single day. And with these videos, I think I'm going to try and, like, I'm not going to always do these are raw talks. I'll do them like maybe once or twice a week, but I think I'm also going to start doing, like, I'm literally going to show you in real time the things that I'm doing to improve my situation. Like, for example, like, in terms of making money, like, if one day I'm like doing something that's going to help me make a bit of money, I'm just going to vlog it, for example. Or like when I go to the gym, I'm going to start showing what I'm doing in the gym to get in better shape and all these kind of things. So I'm going to constantly document what I'm doing, other than just doing this all the time. But in terms of like what I've achieved so far since the last video, I'll be honest, not so much. Other than a mindset shift, but a mindset shift's a mindset shift, you know. It's nothing too crazy, you know, nothing's actually changed. But yeah, just getting the ball rolling at the moment, and that's it. I think next video, I'm gonna, actually no, I'm not even gonna try, I'm not really trying to plan it, I'm kind of just trying to do it as I come. So next video will be whatever next video is. But yeah, we're still in the same spot. This is my favourite spot. I like chilling there doing my videos, but we're gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna head home again, make myself some nice food, relax, do some self-reflection. I've still got to reflect a tiny bit more, you know. I didn't really go into detail with it too much, like things I really need to improve on. So finish that off, head to sleep, new day, new me. Excited, mate.